The QPR podcast is sponsored by deskbeers.com, perfect as a gift or a thank you to the team at the end of a long week. Each Desk Beers box contains a selection of 12 of the best craft beers available, with 2 to 3 styles in each box. As a special offer for QPR podcast listeners, you can get 20% off your first order by entering the code QPR20 when you sign up at deskbeers.com.
QPR, QPR, Twin Park Rangers are on the up and up. QPR, QPR, now we're heading for European Cup.
Hello and welcome to the QPR podcast. I am David Fraser. I haven't done the podcast for a few weeks. I've almost forgotten what it's like and how to say it and all the rest of it. With me, there's 4 of us here tonight. With me is the almost ever-present Paul Finney.
I like that, with me. Sounds like a film, With Me and I.
We also have first-time podcaster. Second time is Paul Hull. Hi, Paul.
Good evening, guys.
And we also have several-time podcaster.
Yeah, I guess so.
Editor of Kick Magazine, journalist, writer.
AK90's pod.
AK90's pod, a live and kicking podcast as well, which is the reason why we're starting so blimmin' late.
Sorry.
So if you it's Ash Rose, by the way.
Yeah, that's my name.
Occasionally people complain that the podcast is too short. It's not going to be an hour-long podcast tonight, and if you have a problem with that,
contact me.
It's
Actually, no.
Ash Rose on Twitter.
If I was hosting it would be. Because I don't do rules. I'm still punkish about it.
You have to deal with the cleaner that comes.
She's quite rude
and
as well.
phones someone. She can't speak any English, so she phones someone to tell us to get out.
I wouldn't know, but she just scares me.
She's quite scary. We had her last week. We were trying to get her, and she was quite scary.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about QPR.
So let's do all the bits that we need to do. So you can follow us on Twitter at QPR Pod. You can hear all the old episodes at qprpod.co.uk. Follow us. Look for the new QPR podcast on Facebook. And many thanks as well to our sponsors for the last 2 weeks, who are deskbeers.com. So these are the guys that at your office or wherever you are will deliver you. I think it's a box of 12 handcraft beers. Is that not right, Finney?
It is, and they do gluten-free ones as well if you're for the celiacs out there.
You got some sent to you last week, I believe, when you did the podcast.
They're still in my fridge because I haven't had a chance to drink them, believe it or not.
Well, they've got an offer on for our listeners, so if you want to get a box delivered to your office, if you go on deskbeers.com, put in the code QPR20, you'll get 20% off. Right, on with podcast. We have to start. We've got Shaun Derry on in a bit, but let's talk about Friday night.
I don't like Craven Cottage.
No,
we don't do very well there, do we?
We never do well there.
It's just wrong.
I wasn't expecting that though. I mean, I know we've had a lot of disasters at that ground, and performances this season haven't been on a level some of them might expect, even with the results earlier in the season. But that kind of came out of nowhere.
No, I don't agree with you. I actually think that result was coming because it only took one team to take the chances against us.
Maybe, yeah.
And we were going to be in trouble. We've been given a lot of chances to a lot of teams. And even Rotherham, if you remember rightly, had quite a few chances against us. They took the chances. I mean,
Was that Rotherham?
Rotherham.
No, sorry.
I liked it. I liked your interpretation of Rotherham. It was nice.
It was good.
if you didn't fix my boiler, I swear. But the thing is, it was all so set up so nicely. I mean, I met up with some friends, came to the pub. Paul came as well. And then we wandered on the road. And
Paul was doing your boiler a couple of weeks ago when we were doing the podcast, wasn't he?
And what a marvellous job he did. Yes, and he's got to be doing me centre heating as well. Anyway, so we walked on the road and they were singing, like, what was it, Paul? Rupert and Tristan were coming for you. And it was all very good humour. It was a good laugh. And then we're going up the stairs and then this massive roar and it's like, should we go back to the pub? You know,
we should have stayed there.
Yeah, I mean, I missed. To be fair, I saw the goal as I came up the stairs, and it looked like that I was closer to him than any of the defenders.
Well, to be honest, Paul, we was in the pub, yeah, and as soon as you see the team news come through on their phone, one up front, and you're just thinking, he hasn't really looked at how Fulham have played this season. They've been poor, not scoring many goals. You need to go away from home in a London derby and tack a team like that. And it just went horribly wrong from the first second, really, didn't it?
See, the thing is, someone pulled me up in this where we've all been asking for time. And quite rightly, we have been asking for time because it's a big job. It's a massive job. You've got a director of football with no experience in the role that he's doing. You've got a manager or coach or head coach, whatever you want to call him, who's got no experience. So you've got Les buying the players, Chris coaching the players. That's just it's going to take time. But that was gutless on Friday. You can forgive anything.
That wasn't about tactics.
No,
just
gutless.
Players just didn't see him up for it. And if you can't be up for a London derby, and after
Paul Murray, sorry Ash, Paul Murray quoted the best on Twitter where he said, no bookings, and hashtag in their faces. What's wrong with you?
Especially after watching some of the stuff you'd get. I know the club roll out we're up for it though. But watching Charlie Austin, I know you're going off injured as well. But watching him on Access All Ours in the week, and I kind of actually for the first time believed there was a kind of all right. They know it's a derby, maybe they'll be up for it, but they just didn't turn up.
Was it a one-off or indicative of a bigger, deeper problem?
Well, you got to ask yourself. We've been done 6-0 there.
Well, then you can say we just don't do it at Fulham. Do you know what? I was listening.
We lost 6-0 to a good Fulham side there. Yeah, we lost 4-0 to a poor
better Fulham side. What is?
Didn't even try.
Have they had two players called Moussa Dembeles, or am I going mad?
No, they have. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
The other one's still at Spurs.
Are they related?
There wasn't some kind of body swap kind of going on with Tottenham. I think they are related. Yeah.
Do it got me more than anything, and it's just annoying. Is that not only was there no bookings, there was no tackles, and when they scored, we just threw the ball up and walked back. I'm not saying the players don't care because I do believe they do care. I know that Steve Gallen cares. I know that Chris Ramsey does care. Might not people agree with that, but I might get hammered with that. But you can tell
they do care.
When they've been on the podcast, you can tell they care. What the fuck is going on when you put a performance like that out? That you go out against a Fulham side like that who didn't even play that well and just wave a white flag so shitely. It's not acceptable. Doesn't matter what they do this weekend, next weekend, the weekend after that. That was unacceptable. Why is it happening yet again?
Why is it happening?
Yeah,
I'm asking you.
Because I don't know, but it
we're
shouldn't
just
happen.
so easy to score against. We're so easy to break down, and I love you watch those goals. There are two players that are in amongst it, kind of not doing what they need to do. That all in every one of those four goals.
Go on, who was
is
it?
Angela and Anua.
Yeah.
All four of them. I think it was down to sort of two each, really. And let's not get into sort of the specifics of who is and who isn't at fault, but it seems like it's the same errors over and over again. Let me put a theory to you. And I actually listened to last week's podcast after Friday night, which is quite an interesting thing to do, because you were talking about, we got the good point at Hull, we're doing all right, we're kind of going along quite nicely.
So it's my fault.
And then all of a sudden it's flipped. Are we not taking Fulham seriously enough? And I'll tell you why I say that. We have a very good record against Chelsea, comparatively.
Yeah.
In the last few years, I think in the 6 games, I think we won 3 of them or 2 of them, and we did all right. And maybe we do well against Chelsea because it matters so much to us, and we have this rivalry against them that we pull out all the stops. Is that the same for Fulham against us?
No.
Are they going for it because it's a big rivalry to them, and we're not taking it seriously enough?
But it doesn't matter if you're playing Fulham or Sheffield Wednesday. They should be going out there to
but
win
we
the
keep
game.
getting tonked against Fulham.
We did it.
I noticed.
Chris Sandler as well
out.
a couple of seasons
Don't we?
ago when he had a nightmare. That was another game at the Cottage, wasn't it? That we didn't play very well.
So are they up for these games and we're not?
David, to be fair, I don't know. I don't think it was that. I don't even think they tried. I don't even they needed to try. The marking was atrocious. Their goals were so simple. My ma could have scored them, and she's been in hospital for 4 days. So it's one of them things. It's like if you give people room, they'll score. It's not rocket science.
But I think it's like, but when a second goal went in, you needed your more experienced players to get the foot on the ball and pick the. And there was just no leadership.
They
on
need
that ball.
a leader.
Yeah. There was no natural. There is, in my opinion, on that pitch of that team, no natural leader.
But where's your pride?
The captain needs to grab hold.
Yeah, but he's not a captain.
Exactly. That's the problem. We haven't got a captain.
He's too nice. He's a nice player. He's a great bloke off the field. He should never be made club captain.
Well, the thing is, okay, so you've got a situation where we go to Fulham, and you're expecting them to put in a show. They don't put the show in, and everyone, the fans. I mean. Everyone slags, not everyone, but there's why did the fans sing the song they sang? I'll tell you why, because if they hadn't, there's been a freaking rat.
Yeah.
You're
talking about the song that was
Yeah.
played on social media and
he just bibbed out the words. Very well done, the car driver. And I
can't remember the words.
Yeah.
It was quite true though. It ran a lot of truth to that song.
And I think that's a reaction to all the things that, because I knew straight away, and I said to people beside me, which is you, they'll spin it. The club will do this next week, where it'll be rebuild, look at ourselves, dust ourselves down.
Yeah, they've already done it. I think,
What else can you say?
But you shouldn't go into a game against Fulham or anyone needing to dust yourself. It's freaking Fulham. It's not Real Madrid. We've got Austin. We've got Phillips. We've got Sandro. We've got Fer. These are international players. I know Sandro and that is away from being, but. Come on, we've got a much better squad than we even expected in our wildest dreams at the start of the season. We should be going there and at least competing, for Christ's sake.
I felt a bit sorry for Hall because Angela's come in and unfortunately...
I don't think Hall did anything wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. And surely...
And Angela's done plenty.
As a manager, you should play the team that's won the last... You know, in case of injuries or particular tactics, but to replace one centre-back just for a new, shiny new one, and clearly the partnership needs work, as seen by Friday night. I think it's been unfair on a guy like, a young guy as well, Hall, who came in, did a good job. We weren't brilliant at the back, and we still looked like we may concede, but, Angela and Anua clearly need work.
But there is a problem as well, is too many midfielders, centre-halves, when you had Hall to bring another one alone, and ignoring strikers again.
Well, Charlie being out for a month is probably the biggest...
Well, luckily there's an international break in the middle of that in there,
but again, it's like, but this keeps happening. It's not Ramsey and Ferdinand. This happened on the Redknapp. It happened on the. To be fair, should we? Yeah. Well, did it really happen? At least with Warnock. I say that we lost 6-0.
We lost 6-0. Yeah.
So it's like. Actually, yeah, just killed.
But that was a very good Fulham team and a pre-transfer window QPR team.
But I'm just broken hearted going there and losing. It just breaks my heart.
We basically went there with 5 in defence, really, Paul. With Henry playing the role he plays, we went there with a back 5, really, and one up front. We didn't go there to attack them. We thought, he's gone there thinking, oh, well, if I get a draw here, nick a 1-0, it'd be great, yeah. But as soon as you go 1-0 down, you go 2-0 down, then you've got to change it. And then he takes the wrong player off. When you go 3-0 down, then he takes the wrong player off.
I think Jay was slightly hacked off that he was
Let's have a quick before we go to Shaun Derry. Talk about Cherry.
Oh dear!
You don't know it yet.
What do we think? My opinion is footballers are young kids and often stupid, and I think that was
harsh.
Stupidity. Well, I'm trying to give him an out.
Yeah.
I'm saying it was stupidity rather than indicative of a bad attitude or anything like that. Because actually, he kind of, when he was walking around the pitch, he kind of looked like he had accepted it, and he was there at the start of the second half. So I would tend to give him the benefit of the doubt that he was just an idiot.
And frustrated as well.
Frustration, isn't it?
It's, you're playing in the team that he may not have, getting a lot of the ball. There might be players around him. We don't know who's not doing their job. Clearly somebody wasn't to lose 4-0. So, yes, it was stupidity, but I think part of it's frustration.
There's only one person thought he should come off, and he was sitting in the dugout. Everybody else thought it was a wrong substitution.
And I was always going to give him grief as well. I mean, the thing is, I think Sean Mulch summed it up brilliantly in his tweet after the game, is that QPR should stop buying eggs. And because it always seems to be one, it's like, and the trouble is now with Cherry, you could create an Adele situation where the guy. I mean, apparently, I obviously I was at the game, but apparently a lot of QPR fans were tweeting timetables for buses for him and stuff like that.
It's not an Adele situation because he was out there 10 minutes later. I know, but what I'm saying is he's a gifted player who needs to be encouraged. I don't think hooking him off was a good idea, personally. Fine, but that's a legitimate argument. Whoever he pulls off, though, it's the manager's call, isn't it? And if the protocol in football is that you don't walk off down the tunnel, then you shouldn't have done it. But so long as he realises that now,
I don't mind the scapegoat.
Yeah, and I don't mind a bit of petulance if it's because he's so frustrated with the performance and he wants to stay on the pitch and change it more than just being stupid because I want to be the star of the show. But I'd give him the benefit of the doubt for the moment. His history tells us he's not an Adele. He hasn't had a history of having an attitude problem.
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is give him the ball and see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, one person who did have an opinion on this on Twitter and tweeted on the evening about Cherry's behaviour was ex-QPR midfielder Shaun Derry, who with a bit of luck we've got on the line now. Hi Shaun, thanks for joining us. We've just been talking about that debacle on Friday night at Fulham, and we've just been talking about how Cherry walked straight off the pitch. You had something to say about that on Twitter. I think it was words to the effect of, that's not right. I take it you never did that.
No, I've never done that. No, absolutely not. I think it was disrespectful to the football club, in particular to the manager. Listen, Friday night wasn't a good night, guys. We all know that. You know, those that went to the game, obviously, you know, are bitterly disappointed. You know, us who watched it from home, you know, we was equally disappointed. But when you see something like that take place, I just don't like it. Honestly, I've seen that so many times at QPR with various people in the past, and it just brought back bad memories for me.
And is that... I mean, that situation is made worse by how Fulham is set out and that the dugout's on the other side of the pitch. But is it absolutely understood amongst players that you go and sit on the bench when you're substituted rather than walk off?
Let me tell you something, right? I seriously, because, you know, I feel so strongly about it. And only because I've experienced that as a player. Thankfully, I never experienced it as a manager, but... You know, I looked at Chris's face on Friday night, and you know, I felt for him. I've got to say, I felt for him. You know, as a fellow manager who stood there on the sideline, having seen his team, you know, quite comprehensively beaten. There's no worse feeling for a manager. I can guarantee you that. But how I stand on it is, you know, Cherry had all the time in the world to think about his actions. It's not as if he got substituted right next to Chris on that side of the pitch. He had a good 15 seconds to think about how he was going to react to that situation. And he still thought the best way to do was to storm down the side of the pitch and, you know, clap the fans. Clapping the fans, for me, that's not good enough. He should have sat down, took his medicine, and got on with it. And if he's got anything to say to the manager, go and see him in the four walls of his office.
Okay, Shaun.
Right or wrong? Go on, you tell me. Where do you stand?
Well, we were just discussing whether he gets the benefit of the doubt for being kind of, given that he was back on the bench 10 minutes later, well, did he just make a mistake, or was it premeditated? And I suppose the only person who knows that is him.
Well, I'll tell you what the important thing about this situation is, in terms of giving him the benefit of the doubt. QPR have lost two really, really important players today. One for a month, and one looks like he's going to be out for 3 months. Chris is going to need absolutely everybody, all hands to the pump this week. And I would have hoped that, you know, Cherry would have come in on Monday morning, or whenever the boys were back in again, apologised and got his head round his job, because I think there's 11 places up for grabs for this weekend's game against Bolton. And, you know, Cherry needs to be thinking, well, you know, I've got a point to prove here.
Sorry, Shaun, just to go back a bit. When you say you've seen it happen too many times at QPR, do you mean against many other clubs you wouldn't see it? Why do you think it's happening so much at QPR, this kind of attitude?
That's not... listen, I can only speak on how I found the club when I played for them, and, you know, it was a pretty toxic club. You know, at certain times of the 3 years that I was there. I say that in the greatest respect of how much I respected the football club, and I see other players coming into the place who probably didn't respect it, you know, as much as people like me did. So that's what I mean by I've seen it before. You know, I've seen it before. Like when Adele went and caught the bus back home at 6-0. You know, when we got done there 6-0. I don't forget things like that. It's not right. It's not right, guys. It's just not right.
Shaun, hi, there's Ash. Do you think the team is currently lacking a leader-type player like yourself, as you were, especially during that promotion season? Do you think the QPR team need a guy like yourself in the middle of the park to, when you are 3-0 down to a local rival, to really G them up and make sure to put it right as soon as possible?
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. I think, you know, it probably is lacking certain types of characters in the team at the minute. I've watched, you know, I know I came to the Forest game a few weeks ago, and I watched it closely. But I've watched probably 7 of the QPR games this year. You know, I've been able to watch them all, really. And I just feel that they are lacking certain types of characters in there. I really do. The Championship's completely different. It's so ruthless, the league is. People call the Premier League ruthless, but You need a certain type of character to play in the Championship. And I just feel that, QPR are lacking that type of character this year. And I actually think, they're lacking it not just in one position either. I think they're lacking it throughout the main, the kind of fulcrum of the team, centre-half, midfield, possibly attack as well. I think, Charlie needs a lot more help up there.
So, are you saying, Shaun, that you're not sure? I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'm asking you. Are you saying you don't think QPR have brought the right players in this summer, or we may have done, but they haven't shown themselves to be the right sort of characters yet?
I think it's really easy to just point the finger at the manager. I've got to say that. I think it's really easy just to point the finger at Chris. Let's not forget that, another win on Saturday probably takes QPR within 2, maybe 3 points of the playoffs, which, in my opinion, and this was before the start of the season, I felt it was going to be a difficult year for the club. I thought it was going to be probably a season of transition. Obviously, everybody got buoyed by the fact that Charlie and Phillips were kept on deadline day. I sure was. But I feel that, a lot of the players that are there, and, perhaps, not so much Charlie, but perhaps Matty, Matty's got to come to the front a little bit more. I think he's got to produce what we all know he's capable of doing a little bit more regularly than perhaps what he's doing at the minute. And that's not me single-handedly handing criticism out to Matty Phillips. I just feel that there's certain players there, guys, who should shoulder responsibility a lot more. And I'm not shirking, the fact that, there has been, and there was on Friday night a number of mistakes in that performance.
Sorry, it's me again, the mad Irish fella. To take you back to the 6-0 at the Cottage and losing on Friday, what was the dressing room like after the 6-0, to be fair? And do you see, could it have been the same sort of reaction? As fans, we just see them games and we just get broken hearted. I mean, we don't see it from the other side of the fence. So what do you reckon would have happened in that dressing room? What happened in your dressing room? If you could answer that question.
No, I can. No, I will. I will answer it. I feel that, I can remember this. I can remember when I was sat in there at half time. I was one of the people that got dragged at half time myself. Me and Adele. I was pretty embarrassed with my own performance that game, and couldn't wait for training to start again the following week. And I know that after the game coming off the pitch at 6-1, I think Jamie Mackey scored the goal that day, and it was just one of embarrassment, really. And the lads felt it, definitely felt that. Neil definitely felt it. It was a horrible performance, but I think it was as bad on Friday night. And I feel that, I spoke to Jamie earlier on today, Jamie Mackey, about it today. And it's so important that the boys responded in training for the manager. He needed the players to respond, and he needs them to respond for him massively on, at the weekend against Bolton. But no, I mean, they're horrible. They're horrible defeats to take. You can handle it when you've given your all and, you've lost by a goal here or there, but not when you're getting slammed like that. You hope they're few and far between.
Hello, Shaun. It's Paul Hull speaking. I think one of the main differences between the defeats, the 6-0 and the 6-1 at Chelsea that you're referring to, was actually the matter of the performance. And I don't actually remember walking away from them games feeling like the boys didn't care or didn't play, but I certainly did on Friday night. It was actually a completely embarrassing performance. And
I can remember the 6-0. The 6 at Fulham, a few years back. What I can remember is Bobby Zamora and AJ being unbelievable for Fulham that night. That afternoon. They were really, really good.
I was very drunk. I was saying 4 of them.
So were the defence.
I was very drunk that day. I saw about 4 of them and they kept scoring. It was annoying.
So, Shaun, seeing as we're talking about it, tell us what happened with Adele. that day. I remember when you came on to the podcast, and it's a great episode. Anyone that hasn't heard it, go back 3 years and listen to it. When you came on, you said you used to sit in the dressing room in between Joey Barton and Adel Tarapt, and you felt more like a boxing referee half the time. How did the boys react to that when Adel cleared off at half time?
It didn't surprise us. That was the problem. It wasn't something that kind of took us by surprise. Adele at that point had become pretty frequent of doing things, not just to the football club, but to the boys, to his teammates that, we pretty disgusted in it all, really. So at that point, where he went and got the bus home or, the taxi home, whatever he got home, it didn't come as a surprise. And then when it's not out of the blue, you've got a massive problem. You've got a problem internally with the characters that you got at your football club. So, it was, like I say, they're just horrible. They're horrible times. And, I had a wonderful 3 years at QPR. Absolutely loved it. But amongst it was the most bizarre time of my career. It really was.
That's QPR for you, Shaun.
I think to a certain degree, I think everyone I don't think they relish it. I don't think they relish that, but it's become part and parcel of supporting QPR over the past however many years. It's
42 years.
Well, you're saying, Shaun, you had 3 years where the atmosphere was at times awful, where, players had terrible attitudes, and your passion and love for QPR is kind of seeping out of you, and we can sense it, and it's tangible. So you're like the rest of us, I'm afraid. This club has just done something weird to you, I think.
God, have we ruined your life?
Well, you guys who have followed them, through thick and thicker.
That's just funny.
You must have been pulling your hair out on. He
hasn't got any hair.
Friday night.
Yeah, I haven't got any hair left. I'm getting bolder by the minute. Shaun, sorry, go on.
I don't know. It's just a great club. It really is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's me, but I just love football. I loved every single minute of being a professional footballer. Loved my time as a manager, and it's something that I want to do. I want to be involved until. I can't do it no more. And I'm not too sure everybody's like that in the modern day. There isn't that amount of people who really, really love being involved in the game. And I do. I just love it. And, the clubs I played for, when I look back on my CV and, there's clubs like QPR, Palace, Leeds, Portsmouth on there. I'm so proud of it. Proud that I've represented such great football clubs. It's brilliant.
Well, Shaun, we're proud of? Watford away, promotion day. we're proud of that, and that's a memory that you and them guys gave us for the rest of our lives. I'll tell you what.
That was on my birthday, Paul.
I walked 20 miles that day. We did the walk that day for the charity, and we walked 20 miles in the sunshine, and that was a brilliant present. And I normally thank people for what they did for QPR at this point, Shaun. And but I'm not just going to thank you for what you've done for Rangers. I'm also thanking you for proving that footballers have great music taste. You have fantastic music taste, by the way, and you've completely enlightened me on that side. I didn't think footballers like music in the same way. I didn't. You've educated me. Well done. And,
well, the modern footballer definitely don't like the music I like. A dinosaur.
Shaun, you're sounding like my parents did in the 80s. But carry on anyway, it's fine. And thanks for what you did for Rangers, seriously, big man. And always welcome in the pub and down at Rangers anytime you can come down and say hello.
And Shaun, I think we're 9 games in. So in about another 9 games' time, have you got your boots? Because that's the stage of the season that we get Derry, Hill and Mackie back in the team. So are you ready to go?
Well, I'm just wandering around the garden now thinking, how can I set that up with cones and I can do my sprints and I can start tackling the dog, and the little man's just about ready for a 2-footer. So, yeah, about 9 games to go. We'll be ready.
We'll give you a call. All right. Thank you, Shaun.
Thanks, Shaun,
really good
Cheers,
to have
Shaun,
you on.
you.
And thanks for Watford away that time. Really did appreciate it. It was a great day.
No props. Top man. Take care, guys.
Cheers, Shaun.
Cheers,
take care. Great. Always a good interview.
I really want him to succeed as a manager because I'd love him back at QPR.
He didn't do badly. He was mugged off a bit at Notts County, wasn't he?
Welcome back.
It was his club, wasn't it? It was kind of like, let's get a chance at QPR. Whatever was going to happen, he probably took it too soon, perhaps. He can always go back one day. I mean, let's face it, we brought back Tommy Docherty, even if it was just to sack him.
I did laugh at somebody put on Facebook about bringing back Gary Woodlock the other night. I thought that was absolutely an amazing line to put down.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah, it was. I thought, really?
Okay, so...
let's talk Mackie and Charlie Austin. Injuries.
Well, the only positive I can take for that...
There's a lot of traffic on this street.
Finney and I are both fit, so we can cover it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, we're there.
Did he say...
You're pub fit.
We're pub fit, yeah. Oh, sorry, that's what I meant, sorry.
Bannister and Byrne of 2015.
I mean, I would say Mackie is a blow, and I suppose it is in a sense, but he hasn't really played yet.
No, he hasn't. No.
So they've got to step up. That's the challenge to the rest of the QPR time. Well, I didn't even know he was injured until I saw the physio film last week. He just kind of disappeared. But if he can get fit, then that's what we have to do. We have to make him the main fulcrum of the attack as a target man, I guess, in the old Nygaard's day, and then maybe have Fur as the number 10 if he's fit.
You could go. I mean, I'm no manager. If anyone looks at my Football League things, I'm usually bottom. But you could have Cherry and Phillips up there, perhaps, and then bring back Horlet. Did I say bring back Horlet? Did I just say that? I don't know.
Well, Phillips is a guy who's got to step up. You know, he hasn't showed it, has he, this season so far?
Someone at some point is going to have to bring stuff to the table and actually improve. I mean, if this lot have got any pride as players, and I do believe they have, and I do believe they care, is they've now got to show that from Saturday onwards and actually prove they do care. Everyone says footballers don't care. We've hammered them and everything else. Don't take the criticism, lads. Stand up to the plate. Come out fighting.
To actually answer your question correctly, David, do you think QPR just done the QPR thing as well with Mackie and signed a player that's not fit again? Because he played like a headless chicken at Charlton, tried his best, and got injured, and he's played how many minutes since football then?
But he wasn't unfit last season, was he?
No, but I don't think that. I think let's be honest. Perch is one of the worst fullbacks I've ever seen at QPR, and I'll probably get hammered for this. And Kanchelski isn't that far behind. In fairness, it's two of the worst parents since Christopher Warren and
Christopher Warren.
Christopher Warren,
and
Christopher Warren.
Seriously, and you kind of think, but again, I let them prove me wrong. Again, prove me wrong, guys. Get out there, but
they're steady Eddies is the problem with those two as well. They're not.
He's about as steady as a rocket horse.
That's they've never been. They have a couple of consistent games, but no one notices what they do. They're not.
Just a good game.
They're not.
I haven't got a problem with to be honest with Kanchelski. I think he's covering a lot of positions, and I think he's an average, decent footballer. I have got a problem with Perch. He got done every single time, left inside, right inside at Charlton, and that's against Charlton. I was looking at him. You speak to people at Wigan where he come from, and he was youth team at Spurs. Yeah, nobody rates him, to be honest. Yeah, and I think, and when we let a youngster supposed to be building the team go out on loan,
he's doing really well down at Sixfield as well.
Yeah, and I think I didn't quite understand that him adding him into the squad. I didn't think really added anything, to be honest, because he's never really had a massive write up. He was on a massive contract at Wigan, and we bought that out. So I don't know what we're paying him, but I mean, it just seems madness, really, where we've got a youngster. We're supposed to be built as a youngster. We spoke to him at the reveal, didn't we? He's a real nice lad, really committed to QPR, and it just seems like if we're going to try and build for the future, we've got a youngster, and what does QPR do with every single youngster? We send them out on loan, don't we?
But the thing is with QPR, it's always, I mean, we also got Harriman as well.
I was about to say that, and there's Harriman as well at Wickham. So
it's kind of...
Was that season on loan?
Yeah, I think half season, I think.
Was it January?
Yeah.
But is the problem with Rangers, every time we get a bad result, it's talk about rebuild, it's talk about throw players at it. But sometimes it's deep in that. I mean, the whole place, let's be fair, I mean, Shaun Derry said an interesting thing. He said the place was toxic at times.
Yeah, it's not a good word.
It's not, is it? That's not a good word.
How many times have you heard that word?
Yeah.
But how much does he love QPR?
That shows it grabbed him.
That doesn't make sense.
I think to answer your question, is the best games we've seen Leroy Fur play, and albeit taking the fitness into account, is playing number 10 behind a forward. If Power can be the battering ram, I'm not expecting him to turn up and score goals like Charlie Austin, but if he can hold up the ball a little bit like Bobby Zamora used to, and we can have Fur coming in behind, that's probably the best option.
Best is going to go.
We can loan players still.
What do we reckon? It's going to be 3 games without Charlie.
Yeah, because we've got the international break in between.
How long do it? Right, sorry, I don't. Sorry, you're hosting. Sorry.
No.
Here's a question: How long will Ramsey get? Do you think?
There's a good response for you.
A while. He'll get a while.
Yeah.
I think you've got to not panic. You've got to take into... Yes, it was not pretty. Hopefully, it was a one-off, not indicative of a bigger, deeper problem. Let's hope.
Didn't Ipswich get dicked by Reading 5-1 a couple of weeks ago? Was it Friday night? And Ipswich were at home, weren't they? Yeah.
And Ipswich are like 4th or 5th in the table.
So, I mean, in the Championships, results do happen, It's how you respond to the result. So, unfortunately...
And there's always another game.
There's always another game, right. If it had been against Middlesbrough away and we got done with 4-0 on Friday night, people go, it's up north and blah, blah, blah. And so, again, I think everybody's got to get in the context of results, Everybody's saying that Ramsey out, Ramsey in, whatever, He is our manager. We need to get behind the team on Saturday and get 3 points. That's the most important thing, because now we've now gone 3 games without a win. Is it 3 games?
Yeah.
Without a win. We need to beat Bolton on Saturday, which are a very beatable team, no offence,
Yeah.
Right. And
to any Bolton fans.
To any Bolton fans listening tonight.
That's brilliant, by the way. That's the first time I've ever apologised to anyone who's not listening.
We're still 1-0 up with Tim Hill's phantom goal anyway, so...
Well, yeah. Because I did try to vote that as goal of the season, but I wasn't allowed to vote for it for the club, personally, which I thought was terrible. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, get behind the team on Saturday, get 3 points, build it on. And I think with way results, we'd only be, 2 or 3 points away from the playoffs. And if you think about first season down, you think where Fulham were this time last season, they were bottom. And they hadn't won a game. So we're not as bad as what people were thinking about. And obviously, I think Twitter can be a horrible place at times. People jump on bandwagons and say this and say that. Ramsey might be, as they say, not as experienced as somebody else, but he's still a brand new manager. And he's now learning the Premiership.
And a brand new team as well.
And a brand new team, And I just think, we're giving time. I think, unfortunately, obviously, the purse strings have been pulled. The club still haven't delivered anything they ever promised. The training ground hasn't been delivered. The new ground hasn't been delivered. There's lots of big holes in what they keep saying. They announced this big announcement last week or 2 weeks ago. Our Warren Farm's got permission, but X, Y, J and J is, and it was still got to be sorted out. So it was a nothing announcement, really, wasn't it? And we still know near, and last time I was on here, to a new training ground, aren't we?
To be fair, he made sense. I didn't expect you to do that, Paul. You have to come on here and sound more drunk than me. It's ridiculous. Don't ever come on here and make serious points.
Right. We have to go into Wales End. Gabe, our producer, is doing his pieces, which is quite amusing to all of us, because he wants us to finish, because he doesn't want the aggressive cleaner lady to kick him out. It's quite funny. So
I think I can win her over, I have a plan.
Can she play up front? We might need her.
Let me...
Is she any good in defence?
Ours End, which is anything and everything we haven't brought up. I'll go first because I'll make it quick. First of all,
confidence for you.
You talked up Fallin last week, big time, and he did not have a big time game.
No.
So I just want to say what a good player Jay Spearing is for Saturday. What good player is it? Gary Madine. What good players they are, and I'm talking about big time.
What a legend.
The other thing is, how badly is Kit Simons aged? He was like a rock star, mid-90s. He was good looking. He was like, could have been in Oasis or something like that with the slick hair. He was a good looking guy.
People say that about me.
Now he looks like
Paul,
your granddad.
I've never said about you,
They
mate.
do. They bloody do.
Only people that are blind say that.
Terrible.
He could have been the roadie for Oasis, maybe.
I could have been the Martin O'Neill for Oasis. What?
So however bad it is, you haven't aged as bad as Kit Simons. Ash.
That's a hell of a point, by the way. Well done, you.
That is a great point.
Actually, sorry, that beats your brothers last week of the weird nerdy thing with
Queen's Pass Rangers.
Weird.
By the way, Ben made that point about time for Derry, Mackie and Hill just before he tells me off for nicking it. Ash.
I just wanted to say look forward to Saturday. I mean, Bolton at home gives me horrible memories from the first game back in the Premier League where we were all so excited we'd be back, and then
Cahill scored, didn't he?
Yeah, and then we got thumped once again. I think was that 4-0? I think so. Yeah. I think we need. We say it on the pod all the time, but we just need to get behind them. Ramsey's our manager, as we've said on this, and we just need to give him 100% for the moment because it's not going to change. I don't think for the long haul. So Saturday, just get behind the boys.
Paul Finney.
Right, I'll make 2 very quick points. Right, first of all, it doesn't matter if we're behind the team or the board or anything. The players have got to be behind them. And that's what's got to step up. So it doesn't matter. We're always going to be behind them. For Rangers fans, I thought were superb on Friday. All right. We went viral on YouTube for a start. Only we could get tanked 4-0 and go viral. But there you go, it's live. And I'm proud of our fans. I mean, whatever people think of them songs is that we do have a passionate support. We do have a passionate football club. And we are an amazing support. And I was while being heartbroken and gutted on Friday, I also looked at our lads and lasses singing them songs and thought, you know what, we still have a body of this football club, we still have a structure, we still have a passion, we still have a culture, and long may that frigging continue in the day of Premier League boring supporters who just turn and buy half and half frigging scarves. At least we give a shit.
He'd have a half and half scarf.
Half and half scarf.
But you know what, that's what came out of Friday is our fans still care, and I hope Tony Fernandes and the board get that video, play it a long time and actually realise that our fans do give a shit about this football club and we do care. But that was unacceptable Friday, and that's the end I'm going to say. But the other thing is, David, don't sigh.
Go on.
Gabe's going mad.
Yeah,
Go on.
Saturday.
She is banging on the door in some Romanian or Polish or something. Don't know.
It's
But it's Romanian for get out.
Okay, for any Romanians and people across
And they're not happy after
we mean no
losing
offence.
yesterday either.
But yeah, Tiger Club walk is on Saturday. Please support us. Please donate if you still can. You find it in all various outlets like www.qpr.co.uk. We'll go on it as well. And please, can someone talk to me in the way because I get very lonely.
Paul Hull.
Well, I don't have much left to say after Finney there.
No.
2 things I'd like to say is obviously Finney just nearly spat Bill over the microphone. But anyway, it was. I'd just like to say a little personal note is on Saturday my dad's not very well, and it's going to be his last game for a long time. He's got to have a little operation, so just like anybody. Obviously, my dad's been going since 1952, so anybody can come and say hello to me, it'd be much appreciated. Thank you very much.
1952. Yeah. Paul was 12 then. Right. Okay.
I will come and sit with you.
Thank you.
How old was Kit Simon?
Thank you very much. What's that?
How old was Kit Simon?
Yeah, it's true. Right. Thank you.
You can't tell me to fuck off of the podcast.
iTunes will do their pieces now. Right. Thank you very much for listening. This is dedicated to Paul Hull's dad, but also
He's not dead.
well, you know. Fine. You know what? I dedicate it to the cleaning lady who's about to kick us out then.
Cheers, Dave.
She's a very nice lady. Thank you for listening. This has been the QPR podcast. The QPR podcast is a West 12 Media and Burble Media production.
QPR, QPR, Queen's Park Rangers are on the up and up.